We're here to make a new type of news.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Making news just for you. It's August 31st here in Seoul. I'm Xin, and this is News Generation, where we make the news at Arirang's very own open studio. Every morning, we'll discuss the top issues and latest current affairs affecting people in their 20s and 30s. Joining me in the studio is Kim Xiang.
Good morning, yeah.
Good morning, and now Song.
Hi, everyone.
All right, now both are here to speak on behalf of people in their 20s and 30s. As usual, let's start with our news feed, which covers different hashtags and news items that have been trending on social media over the past 24 hours. Ever since COVID-19 related restrictions were lifted, European cities like Venice has seen a surge in the number of tourists, leading to overcrowding and destroying natural ecosystems surrounding the area. To limit this influx, Venice has decided to introduce entrance fees for day trippers starting next year. Day tourists will have to buy their entry ticket to the city online in advance, and officials are still contemplating how much they will charge these tourists. Moving on, these are the 20 girls who will be competing in Hype and Geffen Records Joint Edition program from this Saturday. The program, dubbed the Debut Dream Academy, will take these 20 contestants on various missions that test their ability and potential to debut as the biggest pop girl group in the world. Fans will not only be able to see, but also assess how much they progress over the course of 12 weeks. And as you may already know, Hype has produced major K-pop artists like BTS and New Jeans. It's also the first time the agency is holding an audition program with a U.S. company. And last but not least, recently the Seoul Central District Court ruled in favor of a middle-aged maternity helper accused of child abuse. This helper was suspected of aggressively shaking a newborn's legs while putting the baby's head on her lap. The parents who sued this helper handed CCTV footage to the court, but the court denied this footage as evidence, pointing because the helper had no idea she was being filmed. In other words, the court denied the CCTV footage because it was taken without the helper's consent. And to add on, the court said the parents who hired the helper should have let her know in advance why and how they were filming through their CCTV at home. And the court also said the maternity care assistant had every right to refuse being recorded. And this has stirred a lot of debate and even anger among the public. And I know a lot of parents were particularly concerned after hearing the court's ruling. Why do you think that's the case?
I mean, I think a lot of parents, as we know, have to go work and they leave the kids at home with the sitters. And here in Korea, they do put up CCTVs just in case because they're concerned. But like the court has decided, it's actually not a fair way to show evidence. And it's angering, the whole child abuse. And if, you know, the child was indeed abused, it's not good, and the parents, obviously, I understand the anger, but like we were mentioning, they should have let the sitter know in advance that they were going to get filmed, and she has the right to refuse. On the other hand, I still don't know how I feel about, you know, these evidences not being able to be given as full, solid evidence in court just because they didn't have the consent. Because when you look at it, it is so obvious and you can see with your own eyes, but the law is the law and it's there to protect the other person's rights as well. But, you know, in the future, none of this is going to matter with deep fakes, AI coming in. Everyone can fake all these evidences, which are not even valid right now. So I'm really torn about, you know, how they should go about this issue.
That's a very good point. What about you, Xian? What did you think about this story?
Yeah, I mean, it is similar to a lot of the other criminal cases as well. So law must be upheld as law to guarantee equality in the eyes of the Constitution. And it is always a dilemma whether this should be applied to high publicity cases of definite crimes committed like this one. But if it isn't upheld, the entire judicial system may start to contradict itself. So as unfortunate as it is, even this case of child abuse must go through the appropriate legal judgment and sentence accordingly to the court-accepted evidences. So, I mean, even though the evidence is a clear cut, you have the video clip, it was filmed in a private space, not a public space. If it was filmed in a public space, it would be taken as a solid evidence, as a court-accepted evidence. So, unfortunately, whether it may not be taken as evidence, maybe we'll see the court actually holding the parent's hand in this case.
Right, and as you mentioned now, like the AI and deep fakes, we'll have to see what officials think about that, and hopefully they'll find better regulations as to finding what could be actually handed in court based on evidence. We'll have to see what happens there. And that was our news feed for this Thursday. Let's switch gears to our main discussion topic of the day. It's Thursday, which means it's time for another episode of NewsGen, where we talk about environmental issues. Today, let's talk about just how wasteful we are and how that's affecting the environment. 950 grams. That's how much one person throws out on average every day in Korea. The Environment Ministry found this figure is 2.2% higher than it was last year. Figures related to plastic are even more shocking. Last year, we've seen people throw out 75% more plastic compared to 2021. Officials said that's mostly because people have been ordering in food and using plastic cups and dishes. The same survey found that more than 700,000 tons of disposable trash was thrown away each year. Just by hearing these figures, you may not realize just how big of a waste problem we have in Korea. So I have a visual for you guys if you take a look at the screen. The Environment Ministry said one person throws away around a kilogram worth of trash per day. And I thought this visual might not even be enough, to show you guys how much trash that is. So yesterday I did a self-experiment to see how much I threw out while at work. Now, mind you, I was in the office for 9 hours and I tried not to throw out as much as possible. But look, in just 9 hours, this is the amount of trash I threw out, and I actually brought it into the studio to show you guys. So this is how much trash I threw out in just 9 hours, and I'm quite guilty of throwing out.
Was it 9 hours? I think it was maybe the first 4 hours you collected all of that.
That's like 10 liters of, it's a 10-liter trash bag.
It's a 10-liter trash bag, and you know, it's because I ordered in food too, and I drink a lot of coffee. That is always a problem. It's always a problem. But speaking of this, could you guys also talk about how much of a waste problem you guys are seeing on a daily basis?
Yeah, I mean, I spent the day at the office yesterday, well, a couple of days ago actually, and I saw how much trash you're accumulating. I wanted to see, you know, if you're gonna unwrap the breakfast you got from the Arirang stuff. And I think a lot of the trash these days come from food and beverages that you eat, especially single-use plastic containers. For example, your breakfast that day was consisted of a sandwich that was in a single-use plastic container, also a juice carton which had a plastic straw attached to it, as well as the plastic bag it came in.
I was very wasteful.
That was just breakfast.
Just imagine, and that's just for one of you. You get a supply for the entire company as well, and for your lunch as well. You get the plastic trays for your pad thais and whatever you had. So it does seem like we create a lot of trash these days.
And inside my trash can, you can see that there's a lot of recyclables in there, and I will recycle right after the show for sure. That's good. But it did make me realize I am wasting a lot just by ordering in food, bringing my own lunchbox from downstairs. But anywho, there's so many people from our generation calling on the need for a zero waste challenge. Saying that we're being way too wasteful, I guess. And the name itself, Zero Waste, is pretty self-explanatory. But Xion, why don't you give us more details on how to be a part of this Zero Waste Challenge?
Of course. The Zero Waste Challenge is a commitment to reduce your waste to as close to zero as possible. So this can be done by making changes to your lifestyle, such as 1. Reducing the amount of things you buy. This means only buying what you need and avoiding disposable or single-use products. 2 would be reusing items as many times as possible, such as using reusable water bottles instead of disposable plastic bottles, or bringing your own bags to the grocery store to carry the items. The third one would be composting food scraps and yard waste, right? So this helps to divert organic materials from the landfills, where they can release methane, a greenhouse gas, as well. And lastly, donating or recycling unwanted items can also help to keep items out of the landfills and incinerators as well.
And as Xion mentioned, these are some ways to go zero waste. But Nell, have you ever tried it?
I mean, I don't think I've ever gotten close to zero waste because there's just so much. But I have been trying to reduce the plastic containers by using refillable things like dish soap, shampoo, and detergent in the house. However, I think I make up for it in a way by eating delivery food and using the one-time disposable utensils, boxes, and wrappers for food. And I order my groceries online, and I love that it comes in a reusable ice box.
Yeah, it does that.
However, you open it, and on the inside, it's all individually wrapped in plastic. Like you could get a banana, and it's wrapped in plastic. You can get, cucumbers, and it's wrapped in plastic. So I feel like I'm still making up for it as well, even though I am trying to be that way.
The fact that you're so conscious about it, though, shows just how much a lot of people from our generations are gearing their attention towards the environment. So I would now like to focus on what other millennials and Gen Z think about this. And we've mentioned repeatedly how our generation seems to be taking ownership and more responsibility toward protecting the environment. In that sense, are they getting involved with the Zero Waste Challenge as much as we're hoping for?
Oh yes, so according to a consumer research survey, more than 70% of millennials and Gen Zs are aware of what Zero Waste Challenge or lifestyle is. So we are the key generation that have been experiencing the emphasis on sustainability, climate change, as well as the importance of corporate social responsibility. So our trendy Niall maybe can tell us more about what we, the new generation, are doing to reduce waste.
Yes. Well, I just want to talk about a terminology first. We talk about MZ here on the show a lot. It's a Korean term for millennials and Gen Z, kind of pushed together, MZ. But then there's this word called MZeco, which is combining those two generations and eco. Yeah, that's right. So eco-friendly millennials and Gen Z. And I think we're really passionate and very interested in preserving the planet. And we're coming up with lots of different challenges and ways to raise awareness. So like plogging. You know what plogging is?
What is
it's like jogging, but you pick up garbage on the way. So if you're jogging, it's so easy. You can just pick one up and there you go. You started plogging. And even the whole Zero Waste Challenge, it's something that came up in our generation for us to really just keep a healthy earth for a longer time.
It's only natural that our generation is this attentive towards protecting the environment because we have to live in it. And we're already seeing a lot of consequences, like the extreme weather conditions are really pushing us to feel that this is an assignment that we should be working on now. But companies and even the government have been trying to promote zero waste as well, I hear.
Of course.
So Xian, walk us through a few policies.
Yeah, I mean, so there is an abundance of examples we can find. So things like volume-based waste fee. This system requires residents to pay a waste management fee based on the amount of waste they produce. So this has been very effective in reducing waste generation overall in South Korea. So things like your waste bag you just held, we have to pay for it, buy the bag to treat them as waste. The Korean government also banned burying organic waste in landfills in 2005 and implemented universal curbside composting in 2013, requiring everyone to separate their food from general waste and package them in specific food waste bags for collection. The bags can also be purchased from general stores as well, along with your other more sort of 일반 쓰레기, we call it the general waste. And things like extended producer responsibility, we call it EPR. This is a policy that holds the producers responsible for the end-of-life treatment of their products. This can help reduce waste by encouraging producers to design products that are easier to recycle or compost in the first place. And for example, a famous outdoor clothing company has a long history of sustainability initiatives. In 2019, they announced that they would be eliminating all virgin petroleum fibers, aka plastic fibers, from their products by 2025.
Right.
Oh.
So, I mean, in addition to government policies, companies are also taking steps to reduce their waste. For example, many companies are now reusing recycled materials in their products and packaging. They're also offering refillable products and services to help customers reduce their waste.
And these policies definitely seem to be working. It helps people become more aware about how much trash they're producing each day and the detrimental effects on the environment. And whether they want to or not, it also guides them on becoming less wasteful. And we asked our viewers what they think about our discussion topic of the day and if they do anything to try to go zero waste. So take a look at the screen to find out what 3 of them had to say. Let's start with Merlin. Merlin said, I am indigenous and we have very little waste, if any, due to our way of life. Animals are used for food, everything is used in one way or another, and nothing is wasted. Brooke Parsons says zero waste is a stress and totally impossible in the current environment. It is difficult. And Marco said, yes, but unfortunately, the shops always give a lot of plastic bags and consumers don't have enough consciousness to avoid these kinds of useless things in our daily lives. Then you know what? What better way to find out how to go zero waste than to include a fellow eco-friendly millennial who's actively been trying to do that? Let's include it in our talks right after this.
Which question?
Let's now speak to a fellow millennial who's interested in the environment and has been actively trying to do the Zero Waste Challenge in her daily life. It's Jade Zaina Humawas from Singapore. Welcome, Jade.
Hello, Jade.
Hello. Hello, good morning.
All right, Jade, so why don't you first share your experience on why and when you started to try this Zero Waste Challenge?
Oh yeah, so I did try the challenge and I took part on the challenge way back 4 years ago. And it all began when I attended a 2-day seminar on environmental conservation that promoted the concept of zero waste actually. So I was intrigued by the fresh idea that they were like giving to us back then and decided to give it a shot. And I won't lie, the challenge was tough. It was really tough, and I saw it as a true test, but unfortunately I couldn't keep it up for so long. So I'll try to minimize the waste that I do right now, but not really close to like zero waste.
Yeah, I mean, so it's definitely very hard.
Yeah.
And how long did it take you to get accustomed to producing close to zero waste?
Oh, I gave a challenge a shot, but yeah, as I was saying, it wasn't a complete zero waste deal because a lot of the stuff that we use comes with wrapped plastic or like indisposable plastic.
Exactly,
So I attempted the challenge for a couple of weeks, probably like 2 weeks, but it took me a while to adjust and get close to getting minimal waste. So I'm still living with my parents and my family as well. Thus, there were like kind of adjustments as I do the zero waste challenge since I have to encourage them as well.
I see. I have another question. Do you think there's policies that's implemented by the government or specific companies that's encouraging regular people to go zero waste?
Yeah, there are. I'm in Singapore right now, but I'm in Singapore for vacation, but I'm living in Philippines. So in Philippines, there is existing legislation referred to as Republic Act 9003 or recognized as the Ecological Solid Waste Management Act of 2000. So this law requires local government units to decrease waste to quarter of its original amount by creating and implementing a comprehensive plan for solid waste management. So also there is a organization, the WWF Philippines, which advocates the Zero Waste campaign, aiming to encourage and guide individuals in adapting sustainable lifestyle that are ethical, efficient, and economical with its primary object is to transform waste into valuable resources.
I see.
And Jade, I'd like to ask you the final question. What got you so interested in trying to preserve the environment? And I think a lot of people from our generation should pay more attention. So would you like to give them any tips or advice on how we could better protect the environment from today on forth?
Yeah, I get interested in the idea of this zero waste because I've been an advocate of like preserving our environment because for me, I think preserving our environment gives us life, better quality of life. So my advice to make a difference, we should start by taking small steps at home and within ourselves as well. So one piece of advice that I have to give is to avoid using single-use plastics because there are a lot of single-use plastics and we can see it everywhere. And just like Siyong said a while ago that we can see it in grocery stores or in convenience stores. So instead of buying bottled waters or disposable bottled waters, try doing the bringing of your own plastic,
Own tumblers.
water bottle,
Reusable.
or reusable waters or like thermal flasks. And of course, instead of doing takeaway food or like buying food from restaurants, you can do pack your own lunch or your own dinner, your own food with your own reusable containers as well. And also another advice that I can give is supporting local farmers. So that can make a difference. Instead of buying produce wrapped in plastic in grocery stores, you can visit farmers market with your own bags, with your own eco bags. And it's more sustainable choice, and of course it supports local businesses as well. And lastly, we cannot forget the 3 R's, the reduce, reuse, and recycle. So this slogan holds incredible value. So by reducing the creation of waste, reusing items whenever possible, and embracing recycling to give materials a new life, we can make a difference and a significant impact.
For sure.
There are many ways you can tackle the zero waste challenge, but always take a moment to think about how your actions affect the environment. So making mindful choices is a key on making a better change.
And these baby steps will definitely help pave the way for a better future. All right, thank you so much, Jade. It was a pleasure talking to you today.
Thank you as well.
All right, as Jade mentioned, it's all about taking baby steps, small steps at a time. So what can we do from today, little step by step, to try to go zero waste or better protect the environment?
Yes, I mean, as we heard, the zero waste challenge can be a challenge. You felt it. You try to collect rubbish, how much you're going to get, but it's also a rewarding experience. So by making small changes to our lifestyle, you can actually make a big difference for the environment. So here are some additional tips for maybe taking part in the Zero Waste Challenge. Maybe start small, right? Don't try to do anything all big at once, as well as so you can become more comfortable to the habit. Even Jade took a bit of time to actually get used to making less waste. Be patient, as well as find a community that could actually support each other, maybe your group of friends who want to commit to zero waste or less waste movement would be fantastic.
What about you now? What will you be doing from today?
I was thinking about a lot of other things, but when Jade mentioned that we should support local farmers, I really thought that's a good idea, going there and picking up the food myself in a bag that's reusable.
Yeah, and you know how she mentioned that you should pack your own lunch from home, try not to rely on
I have
delivery.
to be more diligent to do that.
And it comes down to like these plastics or like trying to not get your bag from home or using a tumbler might be inconvenient at first, but I think it's a matter of habit.
Exactly.
You'll
if
get
you make
used
a habit
to it.
of it, it's great.
And at the end of the day, it's going to be helping not only you, but the future generation and obviously the environment. All right, and that's all we have for you today. We'll be here every day from 9:30 to 10 a.m. Korea time, bringing you more topics young people are talking about. Special thanks to Kim Jiyoung.
My pleasure.
And Naosang.
No problem.
All right, and thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. We are
New Generation.